We love the fact that so many of you fans are tied into social media, so we want to get back down trackside and hear from Bernadette. Earlier, she caught up with Ricky Stenhouse for today's Twitter question.
Our Twitter question comes from Brant in L.A. He wants to know, how are you going to surprise fans here? What's your strategy?
I don't know. I was talking to Kyle. So Greg is really good at these races, and so I think we're going to try to kind of pace off of him because we don't get to change tires, so you're going to have to keep those up underneath you. Bill McAnally and the guys brought a really fast Ford. The Roush Performance Parts 99. Hopefully we can just stick to the top three here, pace it, keep the tires underneath us, and really go race hard at the end.
Thank you, Bernadette. You know, Phil, when we look through the lineup here today, an interesting mix. Kyle Larson, of course, on the pole. Stenhouse with a great run, but then we see some of the series regulars.
Yeah, Greg Pursley's no stranger to winning on a road course. He has 3 wins. You see Cole Custer, another invader from the East, running the K&N East as well as the Truck Series. Won earlier this year at Phoenix in the West.
Allgaier will roll off in 13th position. Then when you look for your next Cup Series regular, it's all the way at the back of the grid. Michael Annett rolls off at 29th position.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have 5 Cup regulars in this field. 4 of those guys are rookies, so there's certainly a good reason for them to be here. Ricky Stenhouse also in the field. He ran here last year in the Cup Series.
Always important. If you just learn one thing about a particular corner, it would make this day worth it for sure. Grid is lined up 2 by 2 as they come out of the hairpin turn, heading towards the start-finish line. Kyle Larson on the inside. The Roush number 99 to the outside, and the green flag is in the air.
Nice little takeoff by Kyle Larson there. He's able to get in front of Ricky Stenhouse. This is turn 2 right here. Second gear corner for these drivers.
Pursley and Lupton still side by side as they come up through turn, going through the gears there. Here goes Pursley down to the inside. Looks like he might have the preferred spot.
Going up the hill here to turn number 4. Larson runs off the racetrack just a little bit. Here's turn number 4. Good passing area here going in this corner.
We'll see some passing there throughout the course of the day. These guys sort of feeling it out a little bit. You see Mayhew there trying to make a pass back in the field.
Here's turn number 7. Another good passing area. There's a 21 of Austin Dillon trying to get inside of Cole Custer in the 00.
Custer's able to hold the line that time. Dillon will get shut down. Dillon in that number 21.
Here are the S's. You run these S's typically in 3rd gear. It's Jim Engelbright right there, the bright yellow car, number 1. He's a great road racer.
Will the tire pressures be up to full run on this very first lap?
I don't think so, Ray. I think it'll probably take 2 or 3 laps even on these BioSpy tires. But you're looking at turn number 11 here, a great passing zone. You see that blue car. That's Johnny Borneman moving to the inside to try to get a spot. You'll see a lot of action in this end of the racetrack.
Always fun to watch that corner, and especially on the last couple of laps here.
For sure. They go up the hill here. This is turn number 2. That left-hander's turn number 1. There's the 6 of James Bickford. There's David Mayhew, that orange number 17. There's Borneman, that 8 car. We saw him make a pass going in turn 11.
One of the things I thought was really cool about these Cup guys, when they decided to run this race, they picked up the phone and called West teams and said, you have an extra car? We want to go play.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, too. It's hard to get this valuable race experience without coming out here and doing this. You know, they can practice in that Cup car all they want, but you get this race experience out here. There's Rich DeLong, the 3rd, appears to have some sort of a problem with that 84 car.
Definitely off the pace, Rich is, as he goes down that long back straight, and we're back to the lead now. Here is Larson in that Clorox car. The number 99, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. trying to put a little pressure on him.
Yeah, top 4 cars have opened up just a little bit of ground over the 5th place car. I believe Brandon McReynolds is back there in the 5th place. Dylan Lupton right now right behind Pursley. Pursley's in that yellow and blue number 26. Dylan Lupton in that number 9 blue and orange car.
You know, I thought it was interesting to hear Stenhouse say he's well aware of Pursley's prowess on these road course races, and in that position right there, you know, both those guys have got to be looking back in that mirror knowing that 26 is going to be stalking them sometime today.
Yeah, without a doubt. Greg Pursley's so good in this series. Wins a lot of races each and every year. Former champion in the series, and the 2nd place finisher in points a couple times, but they know he's going to be there at the end for sure.
Dylan Lupton running in 4th right now. Came into this day 3rd in points, just 20 markers back. It's been a very good season for for that race car driver.
Yeah, solid. Top 6 finishes in all 5 races thus far this year, so doing a great job. Greg Pursley, though, has had his worst finish this year, a 4th at Phoenix in the opening round.
That's some pretty good numbers. That's the way to average it out for sure. Lupton, of course, driving for Bob Bruncati in that Sunrise Ford. Number 9, the race team that won a championship a year ago with Derek Thorne.
Yeah, they're so good. They usually run 2 cars. James Bickford is in the team car. Always a threat for the championship. They won championships with Jason Bowles in the series. As you mentioned, Derek Thorne last year.
Bickford started 10th, but he's staying right in there, too. So nice run early on here. You see that bright orange car, David Mayhew, in that number 17. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to get in the mix today.
Yeah, David Mayhew's had a great season. He has actually 3rd place finishes, his worst in the last 4. He had fuel pressure issues at Phoenix the first race of the year and finished 24th.
Lupton now trying to put a little pressure on Pursley, less than a car length there between the 26 and the 9. Those guys fighting for 3rd position.
You wonder if Greg Pursley may be trying to save his tires just a little bit here. He knows it's a long way to go.
Tire management will be an issue today at Sonoma. Due to time constraints in our broadcast, we now move forward in today's racing action.
30 laps into this 64-lap event, getting very close to the halftime break. You see Kyle Larson's opened up a bit of a lead right now over the 2nd place running Ricky Stenhouse. You see him, that's the red car back there, a couple S's back.
Stenhouse still in 2nd, Pursley running back in 3rd, and yes, you're right, the distance between the front 4 or 5 cars has opened up to about 10 or 11 car lengths between each of them.
Yeah, and we know that they don't have to worry about it because we're going to have a halftime break here in just a couple laps, so that's going to close the field right back up. There's Pursley coming out of turn number 10. It's our 3rd place car.
But I know this, if I'm one of those guys running behind Kyle Larson, I am concerned about his ability to open up that kind of a gap. Here we go. Here's a battle coming down to the inside. In the corner, there's going to be contact.
Cole Custer drove down to the inside. It ran into the 16 of Brandon McReynolds. Actually, they are teammates with Bill McAnally Racing, but see, McReynolds gets it refired. Some other cars made. There's Mayhew trying to get through there. Jim Engelbright, Justin Allgaier, the orange and white car. Let's see if Cole Custer can get that car refired. Right now, just a local yellow. We'll see if this brings out a full course yellow. As of now, it's still a local yellow. And there he goes. Cole Custer gets that car refired.
You notice the tires have been moved over there, and that's significant because of the double zeros bonsai move into that corner, and there's going to be a bit of damage on that Napa Filters double zero.
Yeah, fortunately, they'll have time during this halftime break, a little bit of time to do some repair work to that car. And the nice thing about this race, it takes about 80 seconds to get around here, so even though Cole wasn't able to refire that car right away, he certainly was in no danger of losing a lap.
Stays on the lead lap, but there'll be some discussion, I'm sure, between teammates there. Custer came in there pretty hot. Didn't have much room in that corner, but he thought he'd give it a shot.
Well, a lot of times, Ray, you make the dive down in there, and then you have a little bit of rear brake dialed in that car, and you get some wheel hop, and there's nothing you can do other than let off the brake. And unfortunately, when you let off the brake, then he's in the corner too hot. Brandon had already committed to his line in the corner, and that certainly wasn't anything intentional, but a tough break for both of them.
And by the way, there's a big curb there too.
There's a big curb there. Watch this now. See, Cole he wasn't even going to make inside the tires, I don't think, because Brandon had taken his normal line. He was in a process of racing Dylan Lupton in the 9 car. And Cole just had a good run coming off turn number 10. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him.
We'll have to try to get a shot of that right front quarter panel on the number 9 to see if there's any damage for Lupton. Here's McReynolds. He's regained his composure and back to full speed in the number 16.
Doesn't appear to be a great deal of damage on that Napa number 16 for Brandon.
McReynolds came in 4th in the points, 29 back, and we talked to him in the garage. He said, we have got to make a statement here pretty soon to get in this thing. We want to make sure they realize we're championship caliber.
Good battle right here. Jim Engelbright, that number 1 Federated Auto Parts car, along with Justin Allgaier. And there's David Mayhew, the 17, right in front of them.
Allgaier takes a look to the inside of Engelbright. He's going to try to get in there, and in this corner, he's got the preferred line.
Yeah, he's going to make that move there.
Bernadette, I know you've been following Jim Engelbright for years here at this racetrack.
That number 1 car, Jim Engelbright, he is such a track favorite. He's one of our favorite drivers. We wish he was full-time with the West Series, but he has some experience at Sonoma, and he said, Phil, you would relate to this, though. he's having a little bit more trouble with these young drivers, especially the Cup drivers, because he says now that he's over 50, his brain to foot ratio and reaction time is a little different, so he feels like he's a little slower. Although he says it's super exciting here at Sonoma, and especially racing against Cup drivers.
I don't know what on earth he's talking about that I would know what he feels like, but these young drivers are on the gas, that's for sure. And one of them right there, Justin Allgaier, was able to get by Jim, but he is a good road racer. He's won multiple times here in the Northwest Tour that NASCAR used to have years ago.
Engelbright competed full-time in this division a couple of years. Looks like, is that Jack Sellers?
Looks like the 15-car Jack Sellers. Looks like a right front tire has gone down on Jack's car.
Jack got credit for a top 10 at Iowa, which was the highlight of his season for sure, but it appears as we come up on the halfway break here at Sonoma, he's going to have a little bit of difficulty.
Yeah, just a few moments, I think, till we see the halftime break. Maybe when all the cars cycle through here on this lap, they'll probably be putting the caution flag out.
Obviously no tire changes here, Phil, but as a crew chief, what do you want to hear from your driver to try to improve things to see if you can get up there and race with Larson?
One thing I've noticed right now for Kyle Larson is not to make any changes, but it appears though he has a little bit of damage to that left front. I believe he's gotten into a lap car somewhere, so I think Mike Hillman Jr. will probably make repairs. You see a little bit of that left front damage right there. That's the other side of that Clorox number 42. There is a caution for the halftime break, and if you're the other competitors, what do I need to do on my balance to try to run with Kyle Larson? And hopefully some of the drivers are going to say, hey, I was just taking it easy. I knew we had a halftime break coming. I wanted to save my tires. So maybe some guys back there that have a little bit left.
Under the halftime break here for the Carneros 200. We'll be back after this.
July 26th on Fox.
The K&M Pro Series West is competing at the Sonoma Raceway for the 34th time. We've gone halfway. Kyle Larson has been out front of the field all throughout the day. They've made their adjustments down in the pits. Once again, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the outside in the number 99. Pursley and Lupton in row number 2. And here we go, back to racing.
See, Larson has chosen the inside here for turn number 1. If Stenhouse could stay up beside him, he would actually be on the inside going in turn number 2. But it looks like Larson, no, there he is. Stenhouse is there.
Stenhouse with a little contact at the number 42. Larson gets it sideways, and here goes the 99. Can he take the position as they go down to turn number 3?
Easiest time to make a pass is on the restart. Now Stenhouse is going to be on the inside once again, but Larson gets a good bite off the corner.
Looks like maybe Stenhouse might have wheel hopped a little bit up off that corner.
He certainly might have. That's Dave Smith, the 36 car, off the racetrack. You see part of the bodywork off that car. How about Dylan Lupton moves to the inside of Pursley? 3 wide.
9 to the inside, 26 and 99, and it looks like Pursley's going to be able to hold the position. He'll move to second place.
A lot of contact over there in turn number 7. That lap, Stenhouse comes out the big loser, loses a couple spots.
Oh, boy, is Austin Dillon sideways right there. We see Dave Smith is, with all that damage, is still sitting on the racetrack, and that is going to bring out our second yellow of the day. They've got to get that car out of there.
See, Ricky Stenhouse lost a couple more positions there, but he may have slowed down for the caution flag.
Smith has been sitting in that spot right there, but I think the NASCAR officials deemed that they need to get that race car moved, and I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I think so, too. And there's we saw the bodywork laying on the ground. That's where it came from right there, the right side of that car. There it is right there.
So Smith has made some pretty significant contact. They'll pull him to the pit area. You know, Phil, I think it's interesting when we look back through the history of this race, the names that are on the winners list here, absolutely amazing. Davey Allison, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin. I mean, that list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it really does. At one time, Ray, the rules were exactly the same for the West Series as the Cup Series. So these were combination races, and when you won, whoever it might have been, you got credit for a West run. More recently, we've had Brian Vickers, Joey Logano, some of those guys, David Gilliland, have won West-only races. Here we watched Dave Smith go off the racetrack. He obviously had some sort of an issue. We saw the sparks, and he made pretty significant contact with the Jersey barrier there.
So they will get that race car moved, and they also need to make a little adjustment to the wall over in the corner as we're now under caution for Smith's off-road excursion. And look here, the 99 in the pit area.
Yeah, problem for Ricky Stenhouse. We saw him fall back a little bit after that restart. Looks like maybe the left front tire could have an issue with the left front tire. You see the NASCAR official is right there on top of it. These guys are allowed to change, Ray, if there's a problem with a tire or a damaged wheel.
And we'll update that story for you when we come back. But first, we need to get to these commercial messages.
One of America's most decorated teams, LA Galaxy.
I like it.
Start shopping at the new Carfax.com.
Our first caution today was the halftime break. Then Dave Smith went off-road a bit, and now we're ready to go back to green flag racing. Looks like Groundhog Day pretty much, except guess what? The 99 is not on the outside of the front row. Pursley moves up now. We'll see if he can do anything with Kyle Larson.
See Larson again on the inside through turn number 1. Looks like he has a bit of a gap here. He's going to be able to clear Pursley before they get to turn 2. Greg's right in his bumper.
2 by 2 right behind them. There's Dillon down to the inside. Brandon McReynolds trying to make some hay.
Yeah, nice move up through the field for Austin Dillon. Solidly right now in the top 5. Brandon McReynolds, a good run. There's Mayhew right there just behind Brandon McReynolds. That's his highest place position today, as well as Justin Allgaier right behind Mayhew.
Allgaier in that number 83, so we've got a couple of our Cup guys have made it up to the front. Engelbright staying right in there with that pack.
See cars go wide there in turn number 4. This is the exit of turn number 7, starting the S. As you see, the repairs have been made to Larson's left front corner. Mike Hillman Jr. and his guys put a little bit of a patch on that left front.
Definitely made that thing look a little better than it did before the halftime break. 24 laps to go. Kyle Larson has been out front in that Clorox machine, but I have a feeling Greg Pursley's going to give him a little pressure before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I was talking to Greg and his owner Gene Price down in the garage area this morning, and they said how important it would be for those guys to be able to beat some of these Cup regulars. You know, they certainly have the motivation.
Mayhew certainly needs to get up there and give Pursley a little bit of pressure too. Mayhew 18 points back as we came into the start of today's race.
We saw Ricky Stenhouse 3 wide on the outside going through turn number 11, trying to make up that lost ground, and that tire change, Ray, was approved by the NASCAR officials.
Excellent. You know, Phil, we've talked about this particular race, and of course, when we go to Tuella in Utah, 2 of the events of the season that normally have the most cars entered. So if you have a bad day at one of these road course races, it can be so much more damaging than if we're at a short track with, say, only 20 starters.
Yeah, you're exactly right here. You know, if you have 30 starters, that's 10 more points you could theoretically lose over what you would lose on a short track. So it's really important to have a good run here on these road courses. And that's where Pursley has excelled through all these years, having great finishes and wins.
Coming through that corner, looked like Mayhew was going to try to make something happen. He thought a little bit better of it, and he backed off and gave Brandon McReynolds a little breathing room. And here comes Allgaier.
Yeah, Justin started back in the 13th spot, already up here in a battle for the 6th spot, making a nice move here. Again, first time, but remember now, he's no slouch on a road course. He has a nationwide win at Montreal on his resume.
Grigg Brothers and Brandt, the sponsors on that number 83, and he's going to try to look to the inside. Here he goes, and Mayhew knows he's there. They're going to drag race as they head back towards the start-finish line. Looks like Mayhew might have the inside line.
Yeah, textbook pass there for Justin Allgaier. Let's see if he's able to pull it off. He's going to be on the outside through turn number 1 here. But if he can stay there, then he has the inside preferred line up here in turn number 2 right here.
There he goes, down to the inside. Can he hold that spot? Mayhew gets back to the gas very quickly in that bright orange number 17.
And now David Mayhew's on the inside there as they go up the hill. There's turn number 4. Little short shoot now. Allgaier has that spot. Mayhew's another one of these drivers that's really, really good on the road courses.
MMI, communication sponsorship on that 17. Saw they had Steak and Grape on this weekend, too.
Kind of a combination between Steve McGowan, David Mayhew's longtime owner, and Steve Portingay, who now co-own this team. They actually brought, oh, there's trouble on the racetrack. That's Cole Custer, the 00, with another issue.
You see, they've cut away part of that left front fender on that 00. You remember he made a bonsai move down here in this corner earlier in the race today. He and McReynolds got together.
Didn't look like Cole lost much time there. He got going fairly quickly.
Did you see the angle that Larson took into that corner that time? I mean, he just went in there and he said, I don't care about any corner, any barriers, any tires. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to go wherever it's fastest.
It's amazing what a quick study Kyle Larson is. You know, he talked earlier at the top of the show to Bernadette about having some K&N experience. Yeah, well, he won the championship in his first year in K&N as a rookie in 2012 on the East. There's Stenhouse trying to make his way back up towards the front. Todd Souza, he's a former winner on the road course in this West Series, right there in the 13 car.
Central Coast Cabinets on that 13, and it looks like Stenhouse is getting a bit impatient here. He's going to try to make it happen. Here he goes. Got that corner in there. Does Souza know he's there? Yes, he does.
Stenhouse did a nice job backing that corner up a little bit. Souza's going to fight back there on the outside, but let's see if we give Stenhouse the inside here as they go in turn 7.
Down at 7, looks like he's going to get that preferred line. The 99 will go. Can he hold it? Yes, he does.
And now it's pretty much single file through the S's here, so Ricky Stenhouse has that spot, making his way back up towards the front.
A lot of times guys come off 7 there, and it looks like they've got the perfect line, but they overdrive that corner, and it can really leave an opening for that guy they just made the pass on.
Yeah, really easy to do that. You see he's gained 4 spots in just a couple laps since the restart.
What was your favorite part of this racetrack when you ran here, Phil?
I like the carousel, the part that we actually don't use anymore. Now they go from turn 4 to turn 7. We used to have a carousel at turn 4. We would make another hard right and go down there to a carousel.
Did that mean you had to stop and get on the horse and give him a ticket?
Yeah, the prancing horse. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
The carousel. Okay, here's Pursley now. He's got his sights on that number 42. Larson has been out front all day today.
Had a couple challenges on some restarts, but been able actually to lead every single lap at the start-finish line.
So many times we've seen Pursley understand this tire management deal better. When you run these cars week in, week out with the same tire combinations, you might be just a little bit smarter. I'll be interested to see if he can get up there and give any pressure to Larson.
And I think, Ray, the reason that a lot of guys never changed tires in the past because they didn't want to take the extra time and give up track position. The rules in years past where you could only fuel or change tires on a pit stop, we knew everybody needed fuel. They didn't want to come back down pit road another time to get tires, so the NASCAR officials said, if people aren't going to put tires on, let's just eliminate that. We'll have a halftime break for fuel. They don't have to have any extra crew members here to make live pit stops, and it's going to save some expense for these teams.
It certainly did that, and oh, we got smoke coming out of the number 6 of Bickford.
Yeah, certainly not normal there for Bickford. He is going to make his way to pit road. Tough break for that young man.
At first, I was wondering if he was just too hard on the brakes, but that looks like that might be a bigger issue yet.
Yeah, it has a look of terminal engine problems for that 6 car.
Bickford started 10th today. He was 7th in the points coming in, 56 out, so that could be disastrous for Bickford. We'll keep an eye on that, see if they are in fact done for the day.
Good battle right here. That's Johnny Borneman, that number 8 car. Jim Engelbright, the number 1 in there. Stenhouse trying to make his way back up towards the top 10 in the 99.
Stenhouse has been moving back through the field. Here is the number 1 of Jim Engelbright. Englebright's got that Federated on there, and I know they've been a big part of his program lately, but I can't help think about the Jelly Belly. Man, that was such a great sponsor. They used to give me some really good Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Yeah, Jim Engelbright actually ran full-time in the Truck Series back in the day with that sponsorship, but great to have Federated Auto Parts on board. Obviously a long-time sponsor of Kenny Schrader. Kenny's doing a lot of East races with Matt Tift this year. Matt's actually in this field, getting some experience here on the road course. Doing a nice job here in the number 41 car.
This could be a good battle here. I've got my eye on that little group. We saw Allgaier roll by, Mayhew there, and right here goes the number 99. Stenhouse continues to march forward. He's got Borneman ahead of him now.
Yeah, Stenhouse gets that 9th spot from the number 1 of Engelbright. Now he's headed up towards Borneman. Borneman has the 8th spot in the 8 car.
It's got to be fun to know that your car's good enough that you can go back out there and pass some people. Oh, and Jack Sellers is into the tire barrier, and he has hit that thing very hard.
Yeah, a lot of damage to Jack Sellers' car. He's able to refire it. Not sure how far he's going to get. You see all sorts of bodywork flying all over that car. Yellow flag is out here. They will have to clean up that debris, but it completely wiped the front end off of that car.
The nose and the left rear corner has taken a significant impact on the number 15 race car.
Tough break for Jack. You see probably some brake ducts trailing behind that 15 car. It's amazing how it cleaned it off from over top of the left front tire all the way back to the windshield on the other side. Let's see if we can see what happened. We got off in the dirt a little bit, Ray.
Drove it in there, and once it got loose, he came in, and good news is that he was able to hit right where those tires are, another 4 or 5 feet, and he'd have been hard into the wall. Sellers with a crash, and we're under caution for the third time. Welcome back to the Carneros 200. Bernadette Santacola is covering the pits. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons, and we're ready to go back to green flag racing. Pursley on the outside of the guy who has led every lap. The 42 of Kyle Larson takes the green flag once again.
Let's see if Pursley can hang in here on the outside as they go through turn number 1. Pursley's there, and now he has the inside in turn 2.
I'm telling you, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. may not be done with his move forward. He has really done a nice job. And here we go. Pursley down to the inside, trying to put some pressure on Larson as they come back up through this corner. Pursley going to take the lead.
How about Greg Pursley for the first time? Kyle Larson loses the lead. Pursley with a great job.
That left rear tire got off the track just a bit and give Greg Pursley the top spot. Here goes Larson, very close to that barrier.
Now they go into turn number 7 here. Pursley's a little bit wide. As long as he can get off this corner, though. There he is. It's pretty much single file through the S's here.
Using those barriers, going up over the berms, and Pursley now takes the front spot away from a guy who looked like he was
off the racetrack.
Off the track is the number 26. Pursley gets sideways, and Larson going to come back and try to retake the lead.
Amazing. Pursley worked so hard to get that lead away, then ran off the racetrack, and Larson got it back.
Right behind them, McReynolds. Here we go. Down to the inside. You're going to try to take a look. It's Lupton.
Yeah, Lupton tried to take advantage of the momentum lost by Pursley, and Pursley said, no way. I want this second spot.
Lots of 2x2 racing through that hairpin corner and back to the start-finish line. And guess what? Pursley did not get credited with leading the lap, even though he worked his tail off.
He worked really hard to get that lead away, but didn't hold it when they got to the line. See, Justin Allgaier now has made his way up to the 5th spot, and Ricky Stenhouse up to 6 now, Ray.
That could be very important in the points race, Phil, because if you lead a lap, you get bonus points, and Pursley didn't get them.
He didn't. He came in here as a point leader, did not lead that lap. There's Ricky Stenhouse right there in that Roush Ford. In the 6th spot, Allgaier right there, the 83 car in 5th.
Boy, did Allgaier go up over that berm, and he's going to try to put some pressure on McReynolds. Oh, he really rides the brake hard.
Locked the brakes up a little bit. Brandon has a good run off the corner. Let's see if he can hold on to it. No, Allgaier stuck to the inside and has a spot.
Man, this is some great racing back here. Here comes Stenhouse. Now will he be able to do the same thing to McReynolds?
We have 12 laps to go, which is a long way to go on a racetrack like this, Ray.
And these guys are really hanging it out. You see those rear tires all over the track. Here comes Stenhouse now to try to put that pressure on that Napa race car, and Stenhouse off of the track throwing dust.
Yeah, really fortunate that Stenhouse was able to grab that car back. You see Mayhew, the 17 car, right behind Stenhouse. One thing we have to mention, while we're away at break during that caution flag, Austin Dillon, who made his way up into the top 5 in the 21 car, stalled on the racetrack. It appeared to be an electrical problem, and he's out.
That is a race car that was fielded by Steve Portengay, but pretty cool to see Golden Gate Meat sponsorship. Jim Offenbach putting some money in it. Oh, we got trouble up there in the corner. It looks like the 99 got off track, and that slowed Mayhew down.
I don't think Ricky Stenhouse could miss that corner any more than he did right there.
I mean, he just went in there and missed it.
David Mayhew said, where on earth are you going, Ricky?
After coming back up through the field, Stenhouse has driven a superb race, but that corner was catastrophic.
How about that black car behind that orange car of Mayhew? That's Michael Annette. Michael started in the 29th spot. This is another car out of the Steve Portengay, Steve McGowan stable. Doing a nice job now up into the top 10 after starting almost at the very back of the field.
Great run for Annette in the TMC and Pilot race car. Phil, I'm telling you, these guys are driving every lap absolutely as hard as they can go.
Without a doubt here. You know, you wondered how much tire management you were going to have, but it sure looks like maybe they saved them for 50 laps, but they're on them now.
Coming down into the hairpin. Looks like Mayhew's going to go wide, and he loses 3 spots through the center of one single corner.
Had some sort of an issue because he didn't go down pit road. That's where you enter pit road there at the entrance to turn 11. He did not go down pit road. He just went wide, and it didn't appear that his car was up to speed, Ray.
As we look back through the group here, we see now this is Lupton and he is being hounded by the number 83 of Justin Allgaier. And there goes Mayhew. He is off of the course, Phil.
They're going to take another hit in the points. As you mentioned earlier, when you have a huge field of cars there, you really pay the price when you don't get a decent finish here. And David, unfortunately, you see smoke coming out of the exhaust pipes. Could be an engine issue here for the 17 car.
They started out the year with a major problem. Water pump fell off at Phoenix, but they rebounded very nicely. Won at Stockton and were credited with the win in the West Division out in Iowa. So tough break for David Mayhew. We'll try to find out more about that story in a moment.
On Fox.
Welcome back to the Carneros 200. We are under caution for the fourth time here. We were under green as we went to break, and Anthony Garbarino got off of the course, so the yellow came out quickly. We've re-racked the field, and here we go. Kyle Larson in the number 42 will start on the outside this time with Greg Pursley down to the inside, and the green flag's back out here in Sonoma Raceway.
Interesting choice by Kyle Larson. This is the first time he's chosen the outside. And I think a couple times he got beat down to turn 2 right here. He said, not this time. I'm going to be on the inside when we get to 2.
Looks like it worked out pretty well for him. Pursley drops to second. Off the course for just a second goes Allgaier, and he's side by side with Brandon McReynolds in the Napa race car.
Yeah, good battle for fourth right there between Allgaier and McReynolds. Allgaier has it now, slides off the racetrack once again, but has enough of a cushion over McReynolds. He holds the spot. How
about the run for Dylan Lupton today? Lupton qualified well, has been right there in the front 5 all day. He's currently running in third.
Yeah, nice young man, too, part of the new NASCAR Next program here for 2014, 2015. No trouble up at the top of the hill there. That's Thomas Martin. You see pretty good contact. Looks like maybe either the wall or the tire barrier there for the 5 car.
That's another car off of the race course. Looks like the 51 of Carlos Vieira has gotten out into the pasture slightly.
That is going to bring out a full course yellow, I think, to go get that 5 car of Thomas Martin. You see the window net's down, signal that he's okay. But I think we'll be going overtime here, Ray.
Why not throw in a green-white checkered?
See what happens here at the exit of the corner. We got shoved up into the tire barrier. Wow, pretty significant contact there.
We have seen some wild crashes at that very point of the racetrack, and thankfully they have installed that big rubber barrier there. Helped ease the impact a little bit.
Yeah, he's not too happy about it either.
I can understand that.
Yeah, he did get squeezed in those tires. There's no question about it. He had a top 5 finish at Stockton, his career best a few weeks ago.
All right, just like that, from caution 4 to 5, and we need another commercial break. Back after this.
I-25, rated PG-13.
From 2009 forward, we'd had 5 different winners. Jason Bowles, Andrew Ranger, Joey Logano, David Gilliland, and Derek Thorne. Will we add a name to that list today? Yes. And who will it be? We'll find out. We're back to green in a green-white checkered finish.
Larson takes the outside again, and that means he's on the outside through turn number 1, but he clears Pursley before he even gets to turn 1 as the inside spot here. Ooh, how about Lupton? Hard into the corner. Allgaier's around.
Goes Allgaier, the number 83. It's going to stack up the field. Everybody taking evasive action.
The area's around in the 51 car.
Everybody seems to be like they're going to get going again once again, Phil.
There's Flaherty in the number 2 car. He gets going again. I think we're going to stay green.
Kyle Larson in the number 42 came in here as what many would call the favorite. Won the pole, has been out front throughout the course of the day, but most everyone thought Greg Pursley could give him a challenge, and right now Pursley's got his hands full with Dylan Lupton and the Sunrise Ford.
Yeah, I think the contact between Lupton and Pursley is really what caused that incident up there in turn number 2, and these guys were able to get away, but unfortunately that's allowed Kyle Larson to have a big lead. Here we go again. There's Lupton to the inside.
Lupton got his right sides off in the dirt for sure, and it looked like Allgaier wasn't quite sure which way to go, and he ran up over that curb and got it spun around.
There's a 41 car, Matt Tifft. He was up in the top 10 here. He had to take evasive action.
Engelbright was in that mix too. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Phil, is back to 4th position.
Amazing. White flag. One more lap here for Larson.
1 to go. Kyle Larson came in here with a dominant race car, and he has been up front today. Many expected him to win. I don't think Greg Pursley was sure he was going to agree with that. Pursley tried to get the lead, actually had his car out front, but was not credited with leading a lap. Pursley running second, Lupton in third.
Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse with one of the drives of the race here, drove his way all the way from the back of the pack, back up into the top 5 here, running fourth.
29 cars here today, and Kyle Larson had some damage to the left front. His crew chief Mike Hillman Jr. fixed that up at halftime. And really, other than that one lap that Pursley got in front of him, he hasn't had much of a challenge.
Yeah, he really mission accomplished here. He was fast in practice, sat on the pole, and looks like he's going to lead every single lap, and he will be in better position for the Cup race tomorrow with a lot more experience on this racetrack.
He certainly learned a lot today, and as we said, these guys drove these cars absolutely as hard as they could do it in the final laps. The Clorox Chevrolet from Turner Scott Motorsports comes down through the hairpin. He'll roll through the throttle there. No pressure from Greg Pursley. Will give the win today in the Carneros 200 to Kyle Larson.
Nice job by Kyle Larson. There's Greg Pursley. Going to be first in class. He's going to be top finishing West driver, so good point day for him. Nice job by Dylan Lupton there in third. Here we are racing off of turn number 11. There's Cole Custer, Todd Souza, and Tim Spurgeon in the 86 car.
Just because Larson got to the finish line doesn't mean there's not battles to settle, and these guys continue to run through the checkered flag here, and we'll set that line up and show you where your drivers finish from first back to 29th.
Outstanding drive, though, by Kyle Larson. You see Greg Pursley coming up to congratulate him on a job well done.
Phil, there's no question about it. A lot of people have been pointing their finger at this driver as one of the top up-and-coming drivers in any division, but his resume just keeps getting better and better.
He's won in the trucks, ARCA.
Picture-perfect day today at the Sonoma Raceway. The Carneros 200 has been won and dominated by the Clorox Chevrolet driver Kyle Larson. Larson showing off a little bit for the fans moments ago here at the racetrack. He's down in victory lane, and here's Bernadette.
Kyle Larson able to win the pole and win the race here in Sonoma. A KN East champion, a nationwide Rookie of the Year, and now a win at Sonoma. How awesome is this accomplishment?
Yeah, it means a lot. This is my first time ever running here at Sonoma, home state. Grew up in Sacramento area, and lots of people with my sprint car racing t-shirts on, so that's cool to see. And those restarts had me a little bit nervous. I wasn't quite sure which lane to choose. I chose the left lane to start, and I felt like the outside guy would always kind of hang with me. So then those last few, I chose that lane, and it seemed to work out. So learned a lot for tomorrow's race. Hopefully you can put it to work there and try and get a good run for targets. But just want to thank Clorox for coming on board for this race. Let me gain some experience. Turner Scott Motorsports, Target Chip Ganassi Racing, everybody that is back at the shop building all these race cars and my Cup cars. It's makes it fun for me. So try and get another good finish tomorrow, and just happy I learned a lot today.
He thanks a lot of people there, Phil, but no question about it. A lot of talent behind the wheel as we look at our final results. Larson at the top, but then a good showing from our West guys with Pursley and Lupton sandwiched in between them and Stenhouse.
You see Todd Souza right outside the top 10 there in 11. Justin Allgaier, the big loser on that skirmish in turn 2 on the green-white checker, finishes 14th.
As we go to the next page, you'll notice in 21st, David Mayhew. That's going to be a big hit for the 17 car in the points. Now we want to hear from the driver who finished second.
Great race, Greg Pursley. I know you wanted it bad, but it was a tough race against those Cup guys out there.
It was. First half of the race between Larson and Stenhouse, we were just trying to save tires up until the break. And then after the break, we got after it. And I think it was going to be a good race between all three of us. But unfortunately, Stenhouse got a flat tire and had to come in. So that put us with Larson. And we were pretty good. We were close to him, but he just had a lot better drive off of 7 and 11, and that's where he was getting us. So I tried one time, got next to him, got by him, but he got right back by me. We were a little too loose in the fast stuff, too. So all in all, it's a great day. Gene Price Motorsports gave me another great car. Star Nursery, Real Water. Can't thank all my guys enough. Just great points day for us.
Nice job, Greg. He will hold the points lead. David Mayhew moves from second to fourth. That'll put Brandon McReynolds and Dylan Lupton up a couple of positions. Lupton now second, 21 points out. And let's hear from our driver who finished third.
Finishing dynamically in third place here. Talk about the experience out there and how crazy it was.
It was a great opportunity this weekend. Last year, came out here and we were fast. We showed speed. We should have had a top 5 finish last year, but had a flat tire and had to battle back. But all the pieces of the puzzle fell in place today. We got in about 4th, 5th place, just rode all race long, saving tires. And then on that last restart, just gave it my all. It wasn't enough. Kyle and Greg were very fast, but I gave it my all, and I'm happy for this number 9 Sunrise Ford crew.
Well, congratulations. Still a great finish in 3rd. Dylan Lupton. Guys, keep an eye on this young driver. He's going to be a star.
Made a great move today, Bernadette, no question about it. We love the East and the West, but folks, you want to tune in on July 18th. That's our next broadcast, and we'll have the Ground Pounders from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds, and Phil, that's always a fantastic race.
That's their Daytona for the Modifieds, and they put on an amazing show there.
6 races this season for the K&M Pro Series West, 5 different winners, and they were driving hard today at the Sonoma Raceway. We saw action all around this racetrack.
A couple hard hits. There's Jack Sellers, the 15 car with hard contact. Here's his teammate, Thomas Martin, getting pushed into the tire barrier.
Well, Phil, it looked like Martin wasn't too happy about that one, but we had a good bit of aggressive driving today here in the Carneros 200. A big wad up in turn number 2. That let Kyle Larson get away for the win. For Phil Parsons, I'm Ray Dunlap and Bernadette Santacola saying congratulations to Team Clorox as we take the K&M Pro Series coast to coast.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.